is a smartphone. And if we looked at those smartphones, one of the unique things is every single one of them is unique. Every single one is different. This is part of this a la carte generation. I don't need 350 TV channels. I want 3. This is where we're evolving with Apple TV, with Chromecast, with all of this technology that's out there. Millennials don't want to take the package deal. We want this, move the rest aside, and I don't want to deal with it or pay for it. Have to understand this when we're marketing to this generation. So why millennials matter? Over $1 trillion in purchasing power. 80 million strong in the US alone. And they're the leading indicators of trends. So now how do we reach them? First, let's look at how they consume. 6 is the new 60. This is something we've been saying for a while. That 6-inch phone is just as important, if not more so, than a 60-inch TV. Mobile is everything. They're mobile first, but they're on multiple devices. And they check their phones 43 times a day. Now that might sound like a lot until you actually, it's like checking how many calories you're eating. Once you keep a diary of it, you kind of get sick, yet at the same time, it's like constantly consuming. And on average, they have 2 devices. This is only going to grow. You have your phablets, you have your tablets, you have your iPads, your phones, your watches, your laptops, all of this. Soon you're going to have VR, all of these different opportunities. And there's something called micro moments. So Google coined this term, and really what it is it's tiny little opportunities throughout the day. This has to do with being mobile first. So when I'm in the grocery store and I'm trying to look up a brand, when I'm comparing a price, when I need to find a restaurant because I'm in a city that I don't know. These are micro moments. And these micro moments happen more with the millennial generation. And why they're important is that these are opportunities for brands, for marketers to connect. You don't get a lot of attention. You get this little teeny moment. Make sure that your brand is represented in the right way for that. And millennials have continuous partial attention. This is part of being mobile first. You know, you're not just consuming while you're sitting in front of a laptop. You're consuming on your phone, on your watch. It's continuous throughout the day. These are big opportunities, but you have to realize how consumption on mobile is different. So what they consume? They still read. A lot of people are shocked at this, that millennials are this detached generation that doesn't actually care. Well, the average millennial reads about 72 minutes of news a day. 69% read news every day, but they find news differently. When we think about our parents and older generations, they read one newspaper. Maybe it was the local, maybe it was the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. They usually watched one news station. They got their news from one source. Well, how different is that from what is happening today? Millennials look at untraditional sources, and the key is they're looking for an authentic voice. So now when you look at this chart, it's interesting because a lot of people say, well, BuzzFeed doesn't deliver news. Well, yes, they do now. You know, BuzzFeed may have started as more of a listicle of funny gifs or, back in the day, but now BuzzFeed delivers news. Elite Daily delivers news. Complex Media. There's a great company here in Los Angeles, came out of Los Angeles called Attention. They're growing like crazy with the millennial generation. And they're telling news, they're speaking to millennials, from millennials, in an authentic manner. It isn't, not that there's anything wrong with the 60-year-old journalist, but sometimes I want to hear news from someone like me. And I don't just want to hear the news that's broadcast on, the traditional channels. I want to dig deeper. And I want to dig deeper on issues that concern me and my peers. So more of what they consume, video. We've been hearing this a lot, but video is so high. They watch over 2.5 online videos per week. 1 in 3 millennials don't watch broadcast TV. I spoke to this earlier, this rise of Apple TV, this rise of Chromecast. Like now, within the last year, I don't need to have a cable subscription to watch HBO. I can watch it on my phone, I can stream it on my television, on my computer, watch it on the plane. This is just happening more and more. And as Apple TV continues to evolve and other outlets like this, we're going to see more and more separation from broadcast, and even separation possibly from cable. Video viewing on mobile has increased 55% this year, growing like crazy. The next one, mobile audio. A lot of people don't realize this, but audio is growing like crazy. Have you all heard, Serial? I'm sure there's a lot of Serial fans. This era of podcasts. Well, the average millennial listens to audio 4 hours a day. This is a huge opportunity. There's 30% growth in podcasts year over year. Huge, huge, huge opportunity. Someone asked me, well, why is this growing? Why, I thought video was growing. Why audio alone? There's a number of reasons. One of them being that now now you can stream podcasts. You can discover podcasts on your phone. There's times in the day in your life where you actually shouldn't be at least watching video. Partially, it's in your car. So more and more cars are now connected. And so we're able to stream really interesting podcasts while we're driving, while we're running, while we're walking, while we're taking the bus. There's a lot of opportunities where you can't consume video per se, but you can consume audio. And so we're seeing this growth in audio. So where they consume, another hot. Mobile web and apps. Shouldn't surprise anyone, but 75 hours of mobile app usage a month. Constant consumption. They're logging on for shorter durations of time. This was interesting for us at Stumble. So Stumble started as a desktop application, and then we shifted over to mobile. And it was kind of a red flag when all of a sudden we realized, people are logging on for shorter durations. We need to dig into this. And as we digged into it, we realized it was millennials, and it was millennials on mobile. And they were shorter durations, but they were multiple times a day. So more of these little bites of consumption throughout the day, as opposed to sitting in front of a computer and just consuming. So again, this brings up a really big opportunity. 80% of access on web is more of these little short bursts. So we need to create this content around experiences. This is what millennials do. There's constantly opportunity to create content, build content around everyday life, and sharing. We all know that. The virality on social web apps is incredible. There's a ton of opportunity for us to maximize and get the most out of the content that we're creating. And 71% of millennials use mobile social media. Again, this shouldn't surprise anyone. We all know how hot this is and how much it is growing. So where else they consume? This one surprises me. Because mobile messaging apps, we've been hearing so much buzz, but they're actually surpassing social networks. So why in the Valley is everyone creating a messaging app? Because of this chart. Will they all survive? Survive? Absolutely not. There will be a handful that do. But why did Facebook put the huge investment into WhatsApp, into their messenger? It's because Gen Z and early millennials are all on messengers. And Facebook made an announcement recently that we still haven't heard enough details about, but we're now going to be able to market via these channels. This is going to be interesting. Who knows how it's going to play out? I'm sure a lot of people are going to do it wrong, but there is going to be an opportunity here. There is the audience, and where there's an audience, there's an opportunity. So what is next for marketers? First off, don't get left behind. Mobile ad spending is going to surpass desktop in 2016. So millennials are mobile. We go back to that. If you're trying to reach this generation, you have to look at mobile. You have to reevaluate your mobile spend. Because mobile spend and mobile consumption is not the same as desktop. So this is one of the main reasons. This question I always pose, is this the death of the banner ad? Personally, I hope so. When was the last time any of you heard wow, that was an amazing banner ad? Never. I think everyone would be happy to kind of put this to rest. But display is changing. Display and banner ads don't work on mobile. The real estate is incredibly small. 50% of the clicks are accidental. We've all been there. We've been in an app. We've been on a page in a publication, and we accidentally fat finger an ad, and all of a sudden we're taken out of this experience and we're plopped into some video game or whatever it is, taken to the App Store, it's frustrating. It doesn't give you a good, feeling about that brand that did that. So, the other big thing is that, again, with the metric of success being this click, banner ads are all about clicks. They're all about impressions and clicks. And so what do we gravitate towards when we do that? And I admit to have done it too. Gravitate towards clickbait. Let's just trick them into clicking, and then I get my numbers. That again does not leave this great, perception of your brand, especially when we're talking that millennials are looking for authenticity. The other big key is ad blocking. Ad blocking is growing like crazy and only going to continue to grow. Apple's made a number of announcements around this, so has Google. They don't want ads on mobile. And so with traditional ads leaving the mobile world, we need to start rethinking how we're going to reach our users. So one of the big pieces, content is king. I think we've heard this time and time again throughout the years, and it's true. It's just mobile content is king. But the quality of content has been redefined. Before, when we were talking about making content even 5 years ago, you're hiring a big production agency, maybe you have a video crew, it's a bunch of equipment, it's expensive. This is changing. 86% of businesses are now using content marketing. And high production costs don't actually equal virality. Mobile has become the new standard. We're living in this DIY economy. So that's do it yourself. Again, before you were hiring these big teams to do this. Now you can actually create amazing content yourself. And it doesn't really cost you much. Web development has now become for everyone. You can take a web class at, I'm sure there's hundreds, General Assembly or whatnot. You can learn how to code a web page. Anyone can. And content tools are now incredibly accessible. It's less about, you need this software that costs thousands of dollars, or you gotta get this out of your budget and it's gonna be the huge percentage. No. Now content tools are on your phone. They cost next to nothing. And we've got this new generation of content enablers. It's not, when I started working in Hollywood, it was all about, your A-list stars. And as I've worked with so many celebrities throughout the years on all different brackets, what I'm realizing is, what I have realized is, those are the hardest stars to work with, and they don't always bring you the best return. There's these new experts in content, especially new experts in mobile content. So this guy, does anyone know who he is? His name's Nash Gear. I think he's now in his early 20s. Started off when he was about 16, 17 from North Carolina. Made Vine videos, very early on Vine. Really stupid, I call them stupid, but everyone loved them. High school boy videos, like stunts and weird little skits and, all on Vine. But he got the platform. The thing about Nash is, Nash now makes $25,000 to $100,000 per Vine video for some of the biggest brands in the space. Again, Nash was very early on as kind of this internet star. And he did something different. He understood the platform, he connected with his audience, he was an authentic voice to all of the teen girls that were following him. And I, for one, went in there after seeing kind of his engagement numbers and was like, no, I gotta figure out what this guy's doing. Super creepy to do when you're a woman in their 30s, like scanning through a 17-year-old boy's feed for an hour. But what I can tell you is he understands his audience and he gets it. He connects with them. He has a real voice. He's not trying to be anything he's not, even when he's doing branded material. And he's by far not the only one. So this is Megan Siganoli. She also came up. Now there's agencies, I think the agency is called Niche, that just handles internet stars. Megan came up and she did a campaign for Lowe's early on. It was Fix It in 6. And hopefully this works. Anyway, she has over 700,000 followers. She wrote Kane's line for this. It's incredible. Oh, it didn't work. Anyways, you can look her up. She's done a number of these, and this was early in her career. All it is a little stop action, 6-second Vine, and it shows you how to do creative DIY projects, how to clean up your cabinet, cute little creative things that she's done. She now has a whole agency, and at the time she was just creating Vine videos, but now she creates them for some of the biggest brands out there, and she's won an incredible amount of accolades and awards for it. So other ways to create content. I'm not saying you have to go out there and hire the next great internet star, because unfortunately now they're not very cheap. But there's other ways to create great content. And this kind of content is what millennials really respond well to. It's user-generated content. It's been around for a while, but now we're in an era where your users can create amazing, fantastic content. User-generated content is 50% more trusted by millennials. 28% increase in brand engagement. And a 25% increase in authentic content over stale stock images. So we do a lot of content at Stumble, and I noticed myself getting into this. I will pull, we'll write an article, whatever, we'll pull a stale stock image because it's safe. There's so much real, authentic, interesting content out there, especially from your users. Like, you don't need to use stale stock photos that 17,000 other brands have already used. Use real content.